Hey, party people!
Hello.
What's going on? Space
Hi.
Cadets, as I mentioned in the little Twitch thing, it sends out an email to anyone that's following us, and I can customize the thing, and it was like, "Hola, Space Cadets!"
Hola. ¿Dónde está Space Biblioteca?
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Me llamo T-Bone,
¿Dónde
la araña
está
discoteca.
Biblioteca?
Yeah.
We love the Spanish community.
My name is Kyle Springer, and I caught my co-host totally off guard.
And my name is Paul Kang.
And we are the Whatnauts.
You're goddamn right we are.
All right, you are joining us on another exciting adventure of the Captain's Log. This is episode 8. Episode 8 of the Captain's Log. That means we've been showing this for 2 months now. Well,
fuck.
2 months since the start of 2018. We relaunched our numbering. If you guys were unawares, we've been showing the Captain's Log for a long time, but we changed it up in the new year. Now everyone can join us right now, live, on twitch.tv/thewhatnauts.
Fuck yeah.
And if you're catching this on YouTube or as a podcast, you're missing out. But still, thank you for listening.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, we didn't even plan on doing a second podcast. It was just kind of like, hey, we have some extra time. Let's just throw in something extra for Patreon. And then it became like this vehicle for, not just what we're reading for the week, but, just how we're feeling.
Yeah.
It's almost like a like a timestamp or
Well,
like a time capsule.
You and I don't really get, you live in Portugal.
Yeah.
And having a best friend that lives far away, it's kind of hard to get to talk to them and stuff. And as podcasters, we're always thinking, why don't we just fucking make that content? Have us catching up about our lives be the content. We're like, hell yeah,
just
that's a show.
Just press record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talk about all sorts of stuff. We talk about life. We talk about movies, comics, robots, zombies, who knows what. On this episode, though, I know we're going to be talking about some Netflix shows, a Netflix movie, in specific, the Full Metal Alchemist live action adaptation is what I'm going to be talking about in a little bit here. But I also kind of wanted to have a discussion about social media and kind of the state of the union of social media, so to speak. There's some interesting stuff happening in social media right now, so I thought it'd be worth talking about some.
Oh boy, here we go.
But first, I want to see how my friend is doing. Mr. Paul Kang, what have you been up to recently?
I've been good, man. I've been good. Just cleaning the space station like always, mopping the floors because it's just you and me in the space station. We're floating across the galaxy for about 2 years now. So, just a little, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, making sure that, the oxygenator's working good, making sure the gravity loop's working good. You don't want to just float around, you got to walk around.
Exactly.
Shit.
To make sure everything is
entertainment-wise, I've been looking. Entertainment-wise, Sarah and I, we sat down the other night just on our couch, and she was lying down on top of me, but we were both facing the same direction. So I had my legs wrapped around her in my arms, and we had a blanket. It was super cool and romantic.
Snuggle cuddle time.
Snuggle cuddle movie time, and she downloaded a movie called The Eagle Huntress.
That sounds like a terrible movie that I want to watch.
It's an amazing movie that everybody who has eyes and ears and a soul and a heart should watch. It's fucking amazing.
It was good?
It was so fucking good.
I've never heard of this.
It's a documentary. It's not fiction. It's a documentary.
That might be why, because I'm not a big documentary fan.
It's a documentary about a 13-year-old Mongolian girl named Aijalpan, who is the only, I think is the oldest child of this eagle hunter in Mongolia.
Mm-hmm.
which has been handed down for thousands of years before even Genghis Khan. So she is a 2018 version of, or whenever this was filmed, 2016, 2 years ago. She is the 2018 embodiment of her entire culture. She's nomadic. Everything that their family owns, they pack into this giant truck, and they just drive around the desert plains, the freezing desert plains of Mongolia, and they capture eagles, and they train them, and then after 7 years they let them go, as is custom. They fear God. Before they do anything, they say, by the grace of God, or by the will of God.
And then they finally become American, right?
No.
No?
So
Wrong one.
so it's just so basically you have this documentary crew. I think it's like National Geographic / like Planet Earth people. They followed this family around. So they have like the best tech. It's the most beautiful looking documentary I've ever seen.
Sure.
And it follows this 13-year-old girl and her family. And when you think of eagle huntress, you're thinking, okay, they just get eagles. Maybe they buy them from the store and they train them. No.
I mean, that's not what I'd think of.
No, this is Mongolia. This is barren plains where nothing grows. Just imagine you take the ocean, imagine you take the sea and take away the water. That is Mongolia, because it once was that. And you have these horses just running around, and it's freezing, and everyone's bundled up in beautiful, bright colors. It's primal. It's these primal people. These Mongolians they know about the modern world. They have like radios
Right, sure.
and shit, and they have like rice cookers, sure, but they're these monkeys that live, on the desert plains, and they're nomadic. They're milking their goats and sheep. It's crazy. It's primal. It's as human as you can get in a way.
Wait,
and this kind of relates to social media.
They have like pet monkeys? Is it,
No. I mean, I'm saying that they're Homo sapiens. Like they're like just these monkeys that live off the land. You know what I mean?
Might have been a little bit of a weird way to say that, but
I'm Asian. I can say that. I'm a monkey. You're a monkey. You know what I mean? That's the way I meant it. Don't take it any other way. And so they're just primal. They're not primitive. They're intelligent. They have radios, but they know about. They're wearing like Patagonia. It's really cool. Like,
so are they training these eagles to do what? Like just to like how to survive and hunt, or?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
And I'm about to answer your question.
I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah. There's a moment where it's like, all right, let's go get your eagle. She's 13 years old.
Get your eagle on, girl.
13-year-old girl. They're like, let's go get your eagle. So they start riding their horses. These kind of these tiny, beautiful horses. They ride to like this mountainside, and you're like, whoa, you're gonna get an eagle, and they're like,
it's like
riding,
a Pokemon.
They're like riding in the mountains, and there's just these jagged rock formations just jutting out of the ground. These gorgeous colors, black and brown and reds and blues, and it's like the most primal. There's not a house for like 80 miles. It's just the wilderness. And the camera zooms out, and you see like this eagle nest on the side of a cliff. It's not like a huge cliff. Don't think like don't think Himalayas, but it's like, I don't know, 200 feet down.
Sure, it's up there.
Yeah, and her dad, this loving dad, grabs a rope, wraps it around her waist, and he's like, all right, go down there. So she's like scaling this cliff, and you're like, that's how she's gonna get her eagle? She's
Have you ever
13.
seen Nacho Libre?
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm thinking of right now. When they have to go get the eagle egg.
No, dude.
He like scales.
So raw.
He scales the side of the mountain, and he's like right there at the nest, and he eats the egg and like swan dives off.
But this is real. And she's just 13. This is the most gangster bitch.
That's
this is
crazy.
This is the hardest girl you've ever seen. She's 13 years old.
You don't want to fuck with her.
Not a sound escapes her lips. She's fucking confident. And she's just scaling this cliff, not saying a word. She's actually laughing. She's like, ha ha ha, this is fun.
I slipped. Whoops.
Her dad is like slowly feeding the rope slack, and she's like, more rope. I need more rope. And she's like scaling this cliff downward.
Uh-huh.
and she's slipping and falling. There's no net. There's no safety crew around her. The crew is far away. They're not interfering at all.
Right.
It's almost like they're filming a snow leopard. Like, just this is nature. This is nature. She's all alone.
Mm-hmm.
No camera crew. Just they're far away. And these eaglets, you see the mom circling. These eagles are enormous, and they'll claw they kill foxes. They're trained to kill foxes. A 13-year-old girl is nothing to them. They'll claw her fucking eyes out. It's circling overhead. Her dad's like, come on, quickly. Mom's coming back. She makes a lasso. She swings it like a cowboy. She throws it on this eagle baby, which is kind of big already. It's like 15 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Lassos it like a fucking, like John Wayne. I thought I was watching a John Wayne movie. She just throws it on that shit, pulls, and it like tightens around the eagle, but not too much.
I can do that.
She wraps a blanket around it, wraps it around the rope, tugs it, and says, Dad, pull. And you just see this guy pull the eagle, and you're like, oh my fucking God. This is the most gangster shit. This 13-year-old girl is going to marry The Rock because only he can keep up with her. Like, holy fucking shit. What the fuck? I'm such a pussy. Today I went to go get groceries like 5 minutes away, and I was like, it's cold. It's cold. She's in freezing temperatures kidnapping a baby eagle, which weighs 15 pounds, while her mother is circling overhead. Are you fucking kidding me? She doesn't have a gun. She's got nothing. She's
ridiculous.
Laughing while she's doing this. She's like, yeah, I'm happy. I got my eagle. She like climbs back up. Her dad and her hug, and you notice how they talk about each other. I know it was subtitles, but it was very like primal. It was like, I am proud of my daughter. She proved herself today. You know, just like really, really just like bare bones. No flower. You know?
Mm-hmm.
No flowery talk. It's just like, I have tears in my eyes. And then she like trains this eagle. And he doesn't have a son. And it's the only, this tradition has been going for thousands of years, the Eagle Festival, the Eagle Training Festival, where eagle hunters from all around the country make these people famous because they have this eagle festival where like the top houses get their eagles together and they're hunters, and you're like, holy shit. And there's never been a female contender before, and you're like watching this, and you're like, is this real life? Or is this something they wrote? Because you're just like, holy shit. And there's never been a female contender, and they interview all the top male ranked people, and they look like Genghis Khan. They're wearing like robes. Their skin is like leather. They've got like whiskers everywhere. They've got these enormous fur hats, and they're just like, they got skulls everywhere, and it's just like, and they look like Genghis Khan. They look so primitive and like beautiful, and they're just like, yeah, girls are weak. And you're like, whoa, wait, what? And they're every single man is like, they're weak. They're not allowed to train eagles. They don't know what they're doing. They'll slow you down. They're just there to, do manual labor.
Here's a fucking 13-year-old little girl being like, bitch, what?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, and I'm not going to, call it a paradise. They're very poor. Like, there's no skyscrapers. It's, there's nothing in Mongolia. But
it's just a completely different culture.
It's like tourism, and
to what we have, yeah.
Small industry. And I'm not shitting on it at all, but, I think it's beautiful. And it's almost like a paradise. Life is so simple there, It's almost like a third, I'm not going to call it third world, but it almost feels like a third world Asian country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but it has that feel. And you're like, wow, like this is like an alien planet. And it's funny because it's like a desert planet about a young girl overcoming odds. And the narrator is Daisy Ridley from Star Wars.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, because I was even saying, I'm getting like really Star Wars vibes, like Force Awakens vibes. This young girl, a desert planet with like alien creatures scaling cliffs, and it's like, oh, this is Daisy Ridley. Oh shit. And it's really cool. And so they don't announce her, but she just goes there anyway, and they show you montage of her training her eagle, and her father goes to his father, and he's like, do I have your blessing to train her? And he like pauses, and he's like, you have my blessing. So they're like, they hug, and like he starts training his daughter in how to master an eagle. 13-year-old girl, and they train it, and it's amazing. And then they go to the festival, right? And they start doing the stuff. I'll wrap it up quickly. They're doing the stuff, and everyone's doing their thing, and they announce her, and everyone like pauses. And then, remember, this is a documentary. This is not a movie, so they're just filming everyone, but it's really tense.
Right.
Good editing. And all the men are like, what? People start laughing, and she like rides out there, and her form is excellent because they judge you on form, on how you ride the horse with your eagle. It's 15 pounds. It's a bird on your arm, and you're leading a horse at the same time. She like trots out there. It's like perfect. She's like not stirring at all. It's like everyone's like, oh, okay. And she gets like a 10, 10, 10, 8, 10 score, and everyone starts clapping. It's a fucking movie. It's crazy. And like then there's the eagle is on a mountain, and her father's holding it, and she's at the plane, and they call it, and the eagle has to land on you. This is a 15-pound animal moving at maybe, 50 miles an hour, 60, 70 miles an hour? And you have to have it land on you from, like, hundreds of yards away, and they time you. This eagle does it beautifully. Just goes like an arrow
straight
right to
there.
her. And they're filming
Awesome.
everyone else, and everyone else is, like, failing. Everyone else is, like, dropping their shit, or the eagle, like, is like a foot away. She like, does it in one try. She keeps getting high scores, and then they the final one. And I'm not really giving anything away because this movie is so beautiful. Like, I'm not really giving anything away. I'm just like, it's the experience of just watching is amazing. So spoilers for that. I'm sorry.
You've kind of explained the whole plot, so I'm like, well, now I don't really need to watch it. But it sounds like it's also like one of those things. Like you just have to see it. Because it's not as amazing, or it's more amazing than it sounds.
Oh, dude, it's like, I didn't believe it, and like, I'm not gonna tell you the rest, but what you then see is just this family connect.
That's cool.
Through this eagle and through each other, and their life is so simple. They have no distractions. There's no social media, like we're gonna talk about. There's no social media. There's no internet. It's just mother, father, sister, eagle, Mongolian desert.
Yeah.
Food, water, cows, goats, the air, my blanket. That's it. And it's so beautiful, and like the way they talk to each other is so noble. There's no nobility in how we address each other anymore. But it was like, daughter, I'm so proud of you. I have tears welling in my eyes. Like shit like that. It's just like,
it's cool.
And yeah, in a way, it links to social media because there's no social media. It's just who you're next to,
Yeah.
Where every interaction matters, where every word matters. Yeah, you have this incredible girl, this brave,
that's cool,
heroine, So
sounds like you are absolutely fascinated by that stuff,
God.
because you just went on for like 10 minutes. You're like, and it's so awesome, and there's this and there's that, and it's so yeah. I
love Mongolia.
That's
I
neat.
love Mongolia. So
that's neat. I had two things that I watched on Netflix, and they were not nearly as entertaining.
Okay.
I watched the 2 seasons of a show called Travelers on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. It's like a time travel show. It was not very good. Which sucks because time travel is my thing, which is why I stuck with it, because I was like, I liked it enough to keep watching it, Season 1 was kind of mediocre, but it ended really, really well. I was like, ooh, shit, like I kind of want to know what's going on. And then Season 2 didn't really get much better than that. So I was just like, oh, well, it's not all that great. But it's this weird thing where they send like the consciousnesses of people back in time into people that like technically just died.
Oh.
And so it's like, well, we're technically not messing anything up, because, which is also bullshit, because they're like, well, you're technically not messing anything up because they died, but then they're also not dead, so that messes up the timeline and stuff like that. It's strange, but it was something new that I hadn't really seen.
Okay.
Right? Like I've seen people send their consciousness back and stuff like that, but not into someone else, and make sure like it has to be someone who is like literally just about to die, like the second that they die. So I thought that was kind of neat.
But you can still fuck up time.
Oh yeah,
that.
totally. And I mean,
sure they do.
That's what happens. They end up like like the team of people that kind of originally go back, that you, or I guess not originally, but that you follow, complete their mission, and then by the end of season 1, you obviously realize that things have gotten fucked up. The history that they remember is not the same. And they're like, wait a minute, we came from the future where this happened. And they're like, no, that's not what happened. And they're like, oh, shit, like, we messed things up more than we were expecting,
You fuckers.
Yeah, and so that causes a lot of problems for him. But it's okay. It's one of those shows that if you kind of have nothing else to watch and you just want something on, Travelers on Netflix is a pretty good one. But besides that, not all that fantastic.
It's kind of like store-bought cereal.
Kind of.
It's there, and you can eat it if you want, but might not be the best thing for you. There's better stuff out there. Nothing else. Like, I don't like this.
There is something that I was hoping would be a lot better that I watched also on Netflix. And that was the live action adaptation of The Full Metal Alchemist.
I fucking hated this shit.
You watched it too?
Yeah, a little bit. Halfway, and then I was like, fuck this shit. And
Let me ask you this. Have you seen the anime?
I have, yeah.
Have you seen like all of Brotherhood?
I watched the original. Is Brotherhood the original or like the one they made afterwards?
It's the older one. It's the one they made. It's the second anime that they made, but it's the one that follows the manga like more closely. Because with the first one, they caught up to the manga, and they were like, "Oh well, shit, it's not done." It's kind of like what's happening to Game of Thrones right now. The books aren't all out, so they kind of have to finish the show on their own. But yeah, I ended up watching the whole thing, and it is not very good. I did have a smile on my face the whole time because I fucking love that show, and it's kind of cheesy. Someone in the chat, ZXTomXZ, I assume that's just Tom, said that they couldn't get past the first 20 minutes, which is about right. That first 20 minutes is pretty rough.
I hated it. I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah. It.
I was like, tell the story. What's going on? Is there a good, like, what's going on? What?
It was kind of like that's the thing. They condensed a lot into a single movie, and I think that was to its detriment. Like, this by no means should be a single movie. Like, it just doesn't work, because there wasn't really a clear bad guy, and once they finally tried to bring one in, it was just like, wait a minute, what? Why? It made no sense. So, but I
didn't like it.
I think it has this like corny charm to it, though, that if you can sit there and kind of get through that, it's like, well, I mean, there's a couple moments that made me smile, stuff like that. But
you know what did it for me? You know what I couldn't? You know why I couldn't give it a chance? The actors look too Asian. Now, I can say that because I'm Asian. I'm Korean.
I kind of know what you're thinking here.
I was kind of like, for me, all the main characters, they're white. Honestly. I know that sounds dumb. I know you're like, hey, come on, asshole. I know.
It's like a knockoff Germany.
Yeah, it's based on
what
like
it's supposed to be,
Austrian,
yeah.
Hungarian, that you know, that kind of time period, like the 1914, 20s, that kind of, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
and like for me, he was always white, like, really white, and his brother, like, you know, and they nailed him. That was perfect, except for the voice. Why not just hire
Needed to be
the actor?
voiced by a girl, I feel like.
Yeah,
They
like
often
why not just hire the original
do that.
actor?
Yeah.
You know, or maybe that was, I don't know, but he instead you get this really cute Asian guy, you know, who's got like who's like constantly always smiling. It's in his eyes, and then, you know,
I don't even know if
his
cute is the right word, because my ex asked me the same thing, because she was like, Al was so cute in the show. Like, what is his voice like? I was like, I don't know if that's the right word.
I say cute because if I say he's ugly, he's not ugly. He's a cute guy. He's cute, you know. But he wasn't for me the Full Metal Alchemist. You know, I'm so used to like, you know, seeing this. In no way is it like a race thing. It was just like, that threw me off.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's one of those weird things, right? Because it is a manga, and I would rather see it be made in Japan, or I mean, not necessarily in Japan, but by Japanese people before like Hollywood gets their shot at it, right? That said,
Yeah.
I think you're 100% right. It's not a story about Japan. Right, it's this, like you said, it's this knockoff, like Germany, Austria, that kind of area, World War I time period.
It would be like if white Americans made a comic book about an Asian character, but then they cast a white guy.
Well,
in
I mean,
the movie.
They do that shit all the time, anyways. But like,
you know what I mean?
But as
you know what I mean, though, like an iconic Asian character in like an American.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
But
and
like,
then they cast like this white guy, and you'd be like, okay, they can do that because the people that made him are white. But
it's kind of the
threw me for a
opposite
loop.
of it's kind of the opposite of the Ghost in the Shell stuff.
Exactly.
Like, that
You know what I
story
mean?
is
it's so
inherently
bureaucratic in that way.
That story is inherently Japanese. Like you can make an American adaptation, sure, but it's going to be a completely different story, because you know what's happening is centered around that like technology boom that they had there that America did not have, and that's why casting like white actors in that, you're just like, come on, guys, like don't do that. But yeah,
it's we're seeing the other spectrum, you know, where they're trying to be as socially responsible, I guess, and it just kind of throws you off. Like,
I mean, still, like I think for what they had for the whatever Japanese studio made that, I think this is some of the best stuff that they could have done.
Sure.
You know, they don't have Hollywood.
Dyed his hair, you know?
Right? They don't have that Hollywood level of space. Even that's why manga and anime is so popular, because you know they can make it all in a single small building.
Yeah, and even his love interest, you know, I forget her name. Jesus, I say that because that's kind of all she was, you know. In the comics, in the manga, and in the anime, she's like this brilliant girl, you know, who's like has her own personality. And here she felt, I don't know, maybe one-dimensional. I don't know.
Right.
Or maybe they nailed her just right. I don't know. It just felt too fast because they kind of slowly introduced her, you know, in the mangas. You know what I mean? They just kind of stuffed everyone in there.
Yeah, they kind of stuffed everyone in. I think part of what makes that whole Ed and Winry relationship work is that you see them apart so often.
Yeah, you see them pine.
Yeah. And those moments when they finally do get together are so special. Which with this, they just kind of, she's there the entire time. But
yeah.
Oh well. I don't know, man. The trailers looked so good, so.
Oh no, I want to give it a chance so bad.
I remember a couple years ago I watched the first of the Rurouni Kenshin live action ones. I actually really liked that one. and I thought it turned out really well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Sometimes they
any
nail it, man.
more of them, so maybe it kind of went off the rails after that, but who knows?
Yeah, no, sometimes they nail it. But then, sometimes they don't. and they deal with shit that you really care about. Like I know there's millions of people, of people that care about this shit. Hard. And sometimes they nail it, and sometimes they don't. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they fucked up. They did, but I don't know. I don't have a silver lining. I don't have a message. That's it. Fuck it.
Well, you can always go and complain some more on social media and stuff like that. Yeah. So, speaking of social media, though, I did want to talk about some social media stuff. Kind of before we get into what I was planning on talking about, I had something really interesting happen this morning when I woke up.
Ooh.
So I woke up to like a bunch of tweets that you put out on our Whatnauts Twitter. And I'm still like speechless. I have no idea what that was and what happened. It was kind of funny.
Did you delete them?
I did end up deleting them. I think it was kind of this mix of I have no idea what this is. Some of these are slightly creepy and maybe slightly inappropriate. I'm not sure. But I know this is also Paul's sense of humor. So
yeah.
I was like, I'll just be safe and kind of delete them. He might be mad at me. But we can turn it into some content, and I think it'll be for the better.
I got a plan, man.
And
I'm the plan man. You know what I'm doing. I'm generating content.
So,
man, I'm 5 steps ahead of you, man.
So what struck me about these tweets is they, to me, just waking up and finding them. It seemed like you were completely stoned or just like absolutely drunk. Like you were doing shrooms, you were on some crazy trip. Like I expected you to be like, dude, like remember that one time that I did shrooms and I was crying in my bathroom, and I was like, yeah. Like I was expecting you to have another story like that for me today.
Who says?
This stuff was just nonsensical.
Why are you naughty, Kyle?
It was like you had this one that was like
about assholes.
Well, yeah, there was. How is that? But then the ones you sent like to me, like you mentioned me. Come on, Paul. Mic etiquette. No burping into the mic. But
that'd be a great name, Mic Etiquette.
But the ones you sent to me was this like creepy, like, you know what? I'm watching Kyle sleep right now. He's such an angel. He has mint oil on him. But then you tagged like
the exact quote I remember it was, "I love watching Kyle sleep." He's so beautiful. He's like an oblong angel.
What the fuck?
Covered in sexy mint oil.
What the fuck does that even mean?
But here's the best part. I wasn't high at all. I was completely sober.
But the worst part of that is then you tagged Rian Johnson, who made the latest Star Wars film, and Greg Rucka, who's a famous comic book writer that I really like. Like, what the
Greg
fuck?
Rucka and Rian Johnson completely sober in a tweet where I wrote, @Hush315, man, I love watching Kyle Springer sleep. He's so beautiful. He's like an oblong angel, but covered in sexy mint oil. And I tagged the director of the most famous movie of 2017 and the writer of Rogue One.
So ridiculous.
Completely sober. I'm high right now, but I was completely sober when I wrote that.
Granted, you did have one where you were like, "This is Paul. I am not high." And I was like, okay, Paul is definitely high if he's saying that. Like, That
I
sounds
wrote
like
one,
something you would say if you were
I
really
wrote
high
one
and you're like,
where it was I am Jack's Twitter handle.
yeah.
Which I thought was pretty clever. I wrote another one where it was like, I wonder what the perspective of an asshole is. I wonder what it thinks about itself,
I was
because
just like, good
it's
God,
only
what is
you
this,
only
Paul?
contact it when it is itchy, and it eats and you only touch it to wipe shit out of it and to shit. Like, what kind of personality does he have? Like, what kind of self-esteem does he have? Does he have any?
This is a weird conversation.
Does he know he's strangely important to the entire being, but is still covered in shit all day? Is he like the janitor of the body? Like,
It's a shitty job, but someone has to do it,
Someone has, dirty jobs with Mike Rowe. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So that was an interesting experience, but it worked out because I wanted to bring the topic of social media to the table today.
Good.
Long story short, well, I'll mention the short version and then we can kind of unpack it. The latest kind of social media craze that's happening out there right now is Vero. And I come on, Paul. I already mentioned this. Mike Etiquette. Look him up.
Who is Mike Etiquette?
Google him, Paul. But like it's kind of taken the world by storm over the weekend. And I just on a whim was just like, you know what? I'm gonna check it out. So I made one for myself and I made one for our podcast. And you know what? I kind of like it. It's really cool.
Vero? What is Vero?
So we'll get into that in just a sec. But I kind of wanted to talk about social media in general. First of all, what was the first social media thing that you signed up for? Is it MySpace?
No, Zanga.
Zanga. Damn.
Xanga.
Okay.
Zanga.com. Holy shit.
That one was before MySpace, right? Or right around the same time?
Right around. I think MySpace was a bit older, but Zanga was like 1 or 2 years into MySpace, maybe.
Okay.
3. I don't know.
Because I think
MySpace is still around,
right.
So it kind of fell under that umbrella.
I think Friendster was the one that came out before MySpace, but that never really hit as hard as MySpace did. And MySpace was the first one I had, and I remember giving out my MySpace to this girl that I thought was really hot. I was like, oh my god, I want to know her. But and then I think it wasn't until I don't know middle school that I got a Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't jump on board right away because I felt like it was still that college thing. I knew oh, this is meant for college people. That's what it started as, right?
Yeah. Like you have to get invited. Whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Will someone invite me?
Yeah,
how do
invite
you get
me
on
to the party.
How do you get on that?
Come on, guys. I'm
what
cool
is a
too.
social media platform? How do you get? Do you have to get invited? How do you do this?
But then, yeah, I remember that taking off, and then I've seen it go. I mean, we've all seen Facebook go incredibly downhill, right?
Oh yeah.
I've seen Twitter get started and take off. I've seen Instagram get started and then go downhill and stuff like that. And I've seen and Tumblr too. So what do you think is the future of social media right now? What's gonna happen in 5 to 10 years? Where do you think social media will be?
Before I answer that question, I want to say one thing. The way I view social media platforms, I see them as digital empires. You know what I mean? In every
How
respect.
so?
An empire is a collection of, usually millions or billions of people contributing to build it, whether they agree to it or not, whether they know what they're doing or not. They build it, they pay tribute, they pay tax. Central figure,
kind of
collects
controls it all.
Yeah,
controls it
yeah.
all.
lays down the rules, the laws. Whoever rejects it gets exiled. Is that not the
digital
fucking
country.
definition? Is that the fucking
Digital
definition
empire.
of not just a country but an empire?
Yeah.
But that's just digital. Is that not the definition for Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg is the emperor.
Emperor Zuckerberg.
Facebook is bigger than most countries. Do you understand?
Yeah, dude.
It's bigger than most countries.
What was I
Portugal has
looking at?
10 million people. 10 million.
I think they said it had like Facebook has like 2 or 3 billion people, and
Yeah. The
even
only
me
people not
saying
using
like 2 to 3 is a huge margin of like it could be 2 billion, it could be 3 billion. That's a lot of people.
The only people who aren't using Facebook are people who can't afford computers. And if they could
Pretty much.
if they could afford computers, they would start using Facebook. You know what I
that's
mean?
ridiculous.
It's just a matter of currency and economy when it comes to numbers.
That's almost
They would have the
half-
whole world if they could.
almost half the population of Earth.
Exactly. And so this is an empire. This is not a social media. We're giving it the wrong name. This is a fucking empire. This guy was a billionaire by the time most people are discovering what they want to do. Okay? This is
Yeah.
an empire. He is a king. He has more money than kings, actually. Most kings. He has more money than the guy that rules Spain.
So where is this empire headed?
The way every empire is headed, it always crashes.
Sure.
It crashes not because it's weak, but because it is strong. They crash because they're strong, because they're so big.
So is it going to go the
implode.
route of the Romans, and it gets so
Exactly.
big that they can't even keep
Oh,
it
the
up?
Romans wish they had the power of Facebook.
Well, sure, but
they're,
like,
they're nothing. Like, no. It's already
I mean,
crumbling.
in the sense that like Rome got to a point where it was so big that they couldn't really hold it together.
Exactly. What happened was there was unrest because there were so many different people. They all wanted rights. There was still slavery. Tell me if this sounds familiar. There was so many people and one person was controlling it. They're all complaining about rights, civil unrest, racism, poverty. They're using the empire's, ease of access to plan mutinies and murders and terroristic acts. There's people outside at the gates, the Germans, the Franks, all these people, the
Mhm.
Mongolians, Jesus. Everyone wants to take a chunk of this empire. And eventually it fell because they got complacent and someone else stronger took over.
Yeah.
It's just the laws of nature, really. And that sounds pretty like right fucking now.
Yeah.
Like
I-
literal. It's not even a metaphor anymore. Like literal countries want a piece of Facebook. They're utilizing Facebook
Yeah.
to have civil unrest for power. This is literally what happened to the Romans. It's what happened to the Babylonians. It's what happened to the Byzantium Empire is a bad example because someone just left the back door open. But this always happens to empires, and it's happening right fucking now, and it's dramatic to watch because it's all online.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest part.
It's
So-
crazy.
That's where I see it going. What about you?
I'm kind of the same mind. We're in a time period where social media has kind of taken over, expanded, and gotten so big that it's just kind of this bumbling blob of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's eventually gonna like fall down and fall apart, and something like we're in it's that like slow fall where you're just like, oh god, I'm falling, oh god, oh no,
Oh fuck! I'm in this boat.
someone catch me. Yeah.
How do I unsubscribe?
Yeah. And it has so much momentum that it can't really stop doing that.
No.
Right.
No.
But
You're not
I
gonna stop
think
using Facebook.
I think one of I fucking hate Facebook. I literally only have a personal Facebook so that the Whatnauts can have a Facebook page. Like I have to have an account to run that account, if that makes sense. Which we barely even use our Facebook. It's just to be like, hey, new episode is up. That's
Yeah.
it, you know.
Do you know what's the scariest thing about Facebook?
What's that?
It's not about using it. It's about not using it. When you stop using it, some people do. They just say "fuck this, I'm out," and they
That's
delete their account, which is
kinda
actually
me.
pretty bold. Which is pretty bold these days. Actually,
I've done that. I've deleted mine and started
bold.
fresh. Yeah.
What's scary is when you stop using it. I still have mine, but when you stop using it, I have to imagine, how do you relate to everyone around you now? You know what I mean?
I don't. Well, I think it's more
so
of the
much
marketplace.
Of what we do. Like your friends will be
It's
on
where we
Facebook
talk
like,
about
hey, let's
stuff.
meet up here. You know what I mean?
Sure, but just a meeting
new
place
events.
is not necessarily how you relate to people, though.
No, but it did something to the social fabric where I think
Like, I've still seen Stranger Things, and I can still talk to people about it, right?
yeah, but
I don't
it's
need
like,
Facebook to do that.
No. I don't. I think you're fine. What I'm saying is like, just take the average person, right?
Yeah.
Who's like heavily into Facebook, which is most everybody. Just take a average person or a couple of them, and you just delete their Facebook account, and you're like, you cannot make another one. I want to watch them like live their life. How they would handle it.
Just like having that separation.
Imagine getting a 14-year-old girl who lives in, I don't know, Missouri, and you delete her Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
She's in school, she's in public school, all her friends on Facebook, that's how they talk. You just delete her. What happens to that little girl? And you're like, you cannot use this. What happens to her?
I mean, yeah, being
that's fucking scary.
I feel like it's kind of the like nature versus nurture.
Is that fucking
It's starting
terrifying?
to get into that territory, right? Where it's like if someone is thinking independently, how do they grow as a person?
They're gonna be so fucking lonely, honestly. And like, is that fucking? That means if the internet goes down, we don't just lose a social platform. We lose like a limb.
That's
like
why
a human limb.
Everyone is up in arms
lose
about
like
the
a
whole
liver.
net neutrality thing. They're like, this is gonna fucking suck because they're gonna, they're gonna limit our speeds. We all have to pay extra to get on, YouTube and stuff like that. So
all I'm saying is, if Russia just says fuck it, we're just gonna do it, and they shut it down. They shut down the internet, and I'm sure they could. I'm sure there's a protocol.
Who knows? Yeah.
You would watch America and every country rely that much on Facebook lose their fucking mind. If they just shut down Facebook, they would lose their fucking minds.
So here's something that's interesting. I put out a poll on our Twitter account this morning, and I asked our followers the question, what do you all think the future of social media is? And I gave them 4 options. 1, it's dying. 2, not gonna change anytime soon. 3, fuck the algorithms. And 4, burn it down.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had 7 people vote, which is not much. 5 of them probably don't even listen to this podcast, but that's A-okay. But 57% thought that it wasn't going to change anytime soon. Like, we're just stuck with what we have. It's going to be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. As much as we don't like it, we're here, for better or for worse. 14% said fuck the algorithms, and 29% said burn it down. So I just thought that was neat.
Scary.
So enter Vero. This is an interesting thing. It kind of took the world by storm this past weekend, and it shot up in numbers, so much so that the app is so overloaded that a lot of people trying to sign up can't.
Okay.
And it's getting that popular. I don't know why, and all the articles I've looked up were like, we can't really pinpoint why this became popular this particular weekend. Like, there wasn't some like news article that came out like, here's what you need to do, go get Vero, like that. Like, nothing happened. Just people started being
Russian?
like, I don't know, but the thing is everyone is saying, hey, it's this new social media platform, which I looked it up, and actually it's not new. It's been around since 2015. And which makes it stranger. Like, why now is this like just taking off? But yeah, it was founded in 2015 by Ayman Harari, the billionaire son of the assassinated Lebanese leader Rafik Harari.
The fuck?
Yeah. I think I'm reading from an article on Slate.com written by Will Oramus, entitled "Why is Vero Going Viral?" And I think somewhere in the article they say that the founder is worth like 1.33 billion, something like that. And he was just him like, you know what? I fucking hate social media. I'm gonna make my own. And so he makes his own. And this article goes on to say that it looks kind of like a night mode version of Instagram, but you can like some of the post options that you have is like to recommend a movie or a book, stuff like that. But so I kind of really like it. It's like Instagram, but the cool thing is they don't have any algorithms. Content is not catered to you. It's in chronological order, so you only see the posts from the people you follow. And on top of that, they don't want to run ads. Their business model, they say, we will not run advertisements on this. Now, you might think back to like when Facebook and all that first got started, and they did the same things. They didn't have the algorithms. Everything was in chronological, and there weren't advertisements. I think what's different about Vero is they plan to eventually move it to a subscription model, so that for like $3 a year or something like that, you can have a Vero account with no ads. It'll be in chronological order, like stuff like that. And I think that's a really strange but fascinating way to take social media.
Hey, it works for Netflix.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So don't fix it if it's not broken, you know?
Yeah.
And that seems more honest, like, because I actually like if Facebook was like, listen, we're never going to run any more ads. We're willing to take that economic stab in the heart. But if you give us $1 a month, you have everything else.
Yeah.
I'd see that as very noble.
Yeah. It sounds like for Vero, it's going to be like dirt cheap. So like I think one article I saw was like the price of like a cup of coffee or two per year. Like that's not much at all, you know? That's like 50 cents a month. But yeah, like I'm kind of fascinated by it, but because of its insane spike in popularity, like this app, like if you were to look at the like highest ranked apps in the App Store, I think some of the most popular charts only rank the top like 1,500. This app for the past 2 years hasn't even made it on that chart. Like it's
really
like
fishy.
Yeah, it's strange. And then all of a sudden, everyone is signing up. It seems to be geared toward creatives, which is neat. Like they'll let you post what you want. If you're a video gamer, they're working on some kind of aspect to like recommend video games. Like you go to recommend a movie or a book, and you start typing in the title, and it will come up with like the cover of the book or the movie poster of that thing, and then you add like some text like, I really liked this, you know, like I recommend it, you know.
You know what he could have done?
What's that?
Do you have a theory on how he got all these numbers all of a sudden?
How's that?
Fake accounts. You know how they have bot farms?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, that's one
do it.
thing that could be.
This is how I would do it. Let's say you start your own social media. You're kind of angry your dad just got fucking assassinated. You know.
Happens,
and you're just
know.
like, yeah, and you're just like, fuck it, like I got money. Mark Zuckerberg, he's killing it. I want to join. You make your own thing. It's not doing well. Right around 3 years ago, kind of 1-2 years into it, you hear about Russia and how they're like, they have armies, fucking armies. Fucking Walmart hangars filled with people just clicking, clacking away, making fake accounts. And you're like, holy shit, this is genius. What do? You hire out a farm. You make them make accounts over and over again, every fucking day, every fucking minute, 24/7. And slowly the numbers start piling in. They start making Vero accounts. And then, you rise up in the numbers based on fake
people
shit.
start tweeting about it and stuff like that.
Start tweeting about it. You hire them, you pay them extra. Hey, if you make an account and tweet 100 times every 10 minutes, hey, you get extra. You get bonus.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
That's my as good of a tinfoil hat conspiracy as that is. I don't think that's the case.
How do you explain these numbers? Is it just that good?
Well, it's not necessarily that the app is good, but if I were to do that, I would want to be prepared for when people actually do sign up, so that the app works, right? Because if you like farm all of these bots that make these spam accounts and empty accounts and fake Twitter stuff to make sure that people know about it, and that crashes your servers, then you're not going to get any users because they can't sign up, which is kind of what's happening. Like there's so many people signing up and trying to post out of
More
nowhere
publicity.
that it's
More publicity.
but like not as many people are able to sign up as like, hey, if we're prepared for this huge spike, let's upgrade our servers so much so that these bots won't do shit, and so that when people actually start signing up, we can handle it. Like I feel like there's a preparation that goes into that, like, tinfoil hat conspiracy. Like they would have to do that. So I don't know,
yeah,
man,
but they do that on Twitter. You know what I mean? There's millions of fake accounts.
Oh,
millions.
Sure.
And so it's just like, well, what if he paid? This guy's a billionaire.
I don't doubt
he's got
either.
money. He's got resources.
So
I would do that.
Here's the
If
thing
it
that
was
I
legal.
think is also neat, that is also kind of creating a false scarcity. The first 1 million people to sign up get it for free for life. So if you're within the first 1 million users, like, you won't ever have to pay once they finally switch to that subscription model. Which makes this like, oh, I need to get in there now, so I can not have to pay.
Generating buzz by promising future reward. It's religion.
Yeah.
It's religion.
Yeah.
It's religion.
It's fascinating. But I'm not here to promote like Vero and be like, hey, you guys should go sign up. However, we do have an account for our podcast, so if you want to, you can definitely check us out on there. Who knows if this site will actually take off?
First million visitors never have to pay for our content.
Elo was a thing, and that didn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, and we had in that poll, more than half of the people that voted were like, yeah, social media is not really gonna change anytime soon. You know what I mean?
Fuck the algorithm.
Yeah. So, who knows, man? There's gonna be some interesting stuff. Thank you for the follow, Tom. We just got that notification there.
Tom, I bet Tom's cute.
We got our little SpongeBob dancing on the thing.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know what we're gonna do next because, dude, the internet is only 20 years old.
Yeah.
25. I don't know.
Crazy.
Or social media as we know it is maybe 10. You know what I mean? It was the Wild West. We were watching like
maybe 30 and 20 instead of like.
No. I mean like social media, like Instagrams, the Snapchats, the Vines.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Vine.
Stuff
YouTube.
that we kind of still use.
It's kind of 10 years old, maybe 12. We didn't have what we have right now 10, 12 years ago. And it's still the Wild West. we were watching Homestar Runner videos. Do you remember? That was the Wild West.
Yeah, I fucking remember Homestar.
Was-
I got
you
a
featured
strong
in
bad
one.
email on there. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that in Portugal. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I eventually met you. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the Wild West. The Badger. We don't know what we're gonna invent next. The internet changed everything. What if we create like another internet thing? You know?
I don't doubt it.
We don't know. This is only 20 years old. This is only 10 years old.
Yeah.
Now there's more connection. Now there's more dialogue. Now there's more, now there's more technological advancements that are easier to make together. What the fuck are we gonna make now? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, that's to kind of wrap things up. I was thinking about this too. Like before I settled on, let's talk about social media this week and where it's going. I was reflecting on just like how even like 10 years ago, if I looked into the future and where my life would be, 5 years from that point, I felt like I could kind of envision what it would be. Like things weren't gonna change that much. But nowadays, like things move so fast and grow so exponentially that
God.
it's kind of like I have no idea. Like there's just this like fog, like 2 feet in front of my face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, geez, I have no idea what's gonna happen, where we're going. Like cell phones. Like I still remember having flip phones. I still remember not having a cell phone. Like life before cell phones.
Dude,
Ridiculous.
Yeah, you know what's a scary thought about how quickly we're moving and how quickly we forget how things are? Do you remember the nightclub shooting
Yeah.
in like Orlando?
Yeah.
Is it just me or is it kind of like hazy in my memory? You know what I mean?
I think especially here in America, there's so many of
Right?
them, and
You know what I mean?
unfortunately, it's just like another one and another one and another one, and it just
That-
it
that
unfortunately kind of
happened
gets
in-
pushed.
If
Right?
that happened in 1999, you know what I mean? Whole country would grind to a halt. People would be praying outside. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And you'd remember forever. Now it's like, I was like, I don't know what year that happened.
It's another Tuesday.
That's because of social media. Isn't that scary? It's because of
It's
social
scary.
media. You don't taste tragedy anymore.
Crazy stuff, man. Speaking of social media, though, we got social media ourselves for the podcast, just like Tom did earlier. You can follow us here on twitch.tv/the Whatnauts, and hopefully we can reach 50 followers in the near future. We're hoping to get that much so we can get that subscribe button on Twitch so people can start supporting us that way. If you guys don't want to wait to hit that button, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/the Whatnauts, and you can throw us a buck. If you don't have any money to give us, that's A-okay. Just enjoy the show. We got all sorts of podcasts going up on YouTube, on iTunes. I recently submitted our thing to be on Spotify, so cross our fingers that hopefully we can be on Spotify.
Hell yeah, we got a good resume.
Hopefully, yeah. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. You know the deal. And check us out on Vero.
You signed us up? Are we going to get it free for life?
Yeah, we are free for life.
Hell yeah. Can I say one thing?
Yes, you may.
Well, actually, if you have anything you want to say, you say it first.
Thank you, Tom. He just mentioned, he or she just mentioned that we are great, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
He or
I
she?
love
Why
you.
are you so non-binary? God, Kyle, get in the fucking 21st century. I'm kidding. Hello?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Do your thing, Paul. Take
you
it
know what I
away.
was thinking? I was looking through Instagram today, and I was seeing all these beautiful women, and like how they're getting tons of follows, and sometimes they'd be like, "Hey, I have a Patreon. If you give me, like, I don't know, $20 a month, you can see my privates and my boobs, and watch these videos." And I was just like, "Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense." You know?
Yeah.
a lot of people make money.
It's a
$20
hustle,
month,
man.
That's not bad. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, what if we did that? Like, what if I did that? No. I know why those girls are making money. I'm not an idiot. But I'm like, what if we made that an option? Hear me out.
I think of the like 4 people that listen to our podcast, we would lose half of them.
No.
Listen, even an option.
No. This is so funny though. It's just humor me because it's humorous. What if we made that an option, and like people are like,
I want to Snapchat, man.
No. And people are like, I have no desire to see this 5'5" Asian guy. Not at all. Naked. I would never give him the time of day. But I'm so curious now because like we're like, you know, we prove.
Tom would watch.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, he was like, I'd watch.
Yeah. And like, you know how these women have like videos where they masturbate with like dildos and stuff? What if I was like, if you give me $10 a month, you're gonna watch this awkward Asian guy.
Fuck yeah, man.
Remotely attractive,
do your thing.
Just like,
ain't no shame in it.
Just
do your
like
thing.
Jerking off, and I'm like, oh, and like, and most people, of course, there'd be 2 camps of people. There'd be the ones that are 3 camps of people. There'd be the ones that actually are attracted to me because of my personality, and they'd be like, yeah, this is so hot. I'm gonna click on it. Oh my, this is so hot. And they'd get off on it. Then there's a second group of people who would be like, I want to give them money because I love their message, but I really want to watch this train crash. I really want to see what's
dumpster
going
fire
on
of a podcast
with this guy.
Yeah, that's
and by the way,
what
I wouldn't
chat
do it
roulette was
sexy.
for, Tom.
I wouldn't be sexy, but I'd be really awkward. I'd be really ashamed. I'd be like, this is so gross. I'm so uncomfortable.
This
My
is
dick
not what
so
Asian
small.
families
You
taught
know what
me.
I mean? I'd be like, but then that'd make it even more memorable and awesome, and then word would spread. Be like, guys, if you pay $10, you can watch this really awkward, ugly Asian guy just
The
jerking
next
off.
internet sensation.
They have a pretty good podcast, but this guy, you really gotta. And it would build our podcast, and we would never talk about it, you know. But
If
it's
you
on our
thought their
Patreon.
podcast was bad, check
We'd
out
never
their
talk about it.
Snapchat.
But isn't that so like interesting? Like just, you'd be like, "Whoa, this guy is so gangster. He knows he's ugly. He knows."
I don't know
he's got
if
a
gangster's
small
the
dick,
right word for it.
but he's doing it for the hustle. I'm gonna give this guy money.
I mean,
have
hey
to
man,
watch
if
this.
that's you, do your thing. I will not judge at all.
Oh my god, I wonder if it'd be so bold. People would be like, his body image, like he's got roles, but he accepts himself. Like it'd be like a political message, you know. That everyone would love
Body
it.
positivity, sex positivity.
And there'd be plenty of warning and disclaimers, like you're not gonna enjoy this. like at your own risk, click. Everyone, ye who enter here, abandon all hope, or abandon, Dante's Inferno shit. And they'd give me the money. I'm like, we're not gonna refund this. Like, we know you're not gonna enjoy this. This is Paul jerking off, you know.
Terrible.
You want to
Who
talk
knows?
about social media?
I mean, yeah, like, dude. I mean, that's what people do. I wonder. I'd be curious to know what % of images shared on the internet are nudes.
Oh,
Like,
98%.
Yeah.
And
Like,
the 2%
I'm
is
sure
like
it's
images
an
like, where can I
overwhelming
find the porn?
majority. It's like porn and cats, right?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
And
Crazy
sometimes they
stuff.
meet in the middle, and they're called those Neko kitten girls. You know, they are the bridge between the
There you go.
two great internet beings.
Sexy cat girls.
You must respect them.
Yeah, if you want to follow two sexy cat girls like ourselves, go do that on all the places on the interweb, no matter what universe you're in.
Please don't cut this part out, Kyle. I
hell
really
no.
felt like honest with myself. You know.
Hell no. But yeah, I think we've been chatting for quite a while now. I think we might wrap things up there.
Okay.
And yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting to end that on a downer, and then you came in and was like, dude, nudes. And I was like, hell yes.
I think we could at least get 100 people giving us $10 a month.
Who knows, man?
Where it's just like, what's Paul gonna do this time? Oh, doggy style. He's gonna put a tail in his ass? What? And I'm like, and the video is like, I don't like this. It hurts. It hurts. Why am I doing? I'm such a whore.
And with
I'm doing
that,
this for money. I'm doing this for money.
and with that, my name is Kyle Springer,
And I'm Paul Kang.
and we are the Whatnauts.
You're goddamn right we are.
Adios, guys.
I.